Happy Thursday, North America, and John and Kiki.
What's up?
Well, I missed the blue T-shirt memo. Apparently,
Yeah, you did.
well, this one's kind of grayish blue, but it's not pretty blue like you guys.
You should just know by now that's pretty much the only color I like. Therefore, it's about the only thing I wear when I get off work.
I have gray and black, and that is it. Oh, I have blue during the wintertime.
Blue during the winter time.
During basketball season.
Oh. What about football season?
That depends on the season.
Blue.
Red.
Blue and orange.
Not ever in my life. I mean,
blue and red.
I have actually been to Boise State, but I'm not going to wear their colors.
Blue and red.
That's where you guys lose me, is when you start cracking jokes with colors, because I'm out. So.
Yeah. Hey, it's another pretty day in, well, I was going to say in Cake Land, but you guys aren't in Cake Land. In the Four Corners region. How about that?
Yes.
Beautiful day.
Beautiful today.
Almost 80 here today. No wind, which is, that's a star on the calendar kind of thing.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Worked on the boat all day today. Spent 4 hours trying to run a transducer wire from the back to the front. Not front, back to the console. 4 hours. And then Val got home, and her and I finished it in like 15 minutes. Because I couldn't reach.
Just one of those things. I get it.
I had my fish. I figured out I got stuck, so I had to do it a different way. And I had my fish wire all the way back to the back because I couldn't connect the cables and just pull it through. Because it was, the one cable was through my glassed in tube like Kyle was talking about. And that thing is so full of wires that I couldn't get the head back through. So I had to go outside the tube and use the fish wire. And I got the fish wire all the way to the back, but I couldn't reach it until Val got home, and then she reached it, and we got her done.
Ain't it fun?
I'd started out with just a simple live well pump change. Unscrew it and snap it in. Turned into a valve replacement for the live wells, which turned into a, hey, there's a transducer flopping around back here.
Uh-oh.
And it's cracked, so.
Oh, no.
No wonder I couldn't see the depth half the time when I was running across the water. But all that will be fixed tomorrow.
America.
And I got a new flag, speaking of America.
I saw that.
Today. And we got 3 boats underneath the awning over there tonight. The season has officially begun. And we'll be full tomorrow night.
What's this weekend?
Anglers in action.
Okay.
Anglers in action this week. And that's Sunday, and then we got the Lake Lodge Grand Lake Winter Series jackpot finale on Saturday. And then next weekend is Nichols.
And BFL.
And a BFL. Yeah, we're full for both of those as well. So, yeah, Kyle called last night and wanted a room. I'm like, dude, or he didn't call. He just texted. Can't wait till the week before and to get a room at the Lake Lodge.
Well, you know,
I appreciate it though.
I'm good at
But
wild.
I hate turning you away.
That way, you just have to come visit, I guess. Now,
Where are you staying? Where are you staying?
we got upset and didn't make reservations yet or nothing.
Oh,
We may just sleep in the truck together to keep ourselves
you
warm.
can sleep here. You can park in the campsite. That's available.
Out there with the frogs.
Mm-hmm. The frogs and the mouse and the dang air conditioner.
Gross.
Air conditioner on the camper. What else is going on?
Stuff and things. There's a lot going on. First day at NPFL championship today.
They caught him pretty good.
Yeah, pretty solid.
16 pounds on Smith Lake. That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
G-Man in 4th place.
I looked down through there just to quickly spot anybody that's been a past guest, you know, and Patrick's down there towards the bottom, and 28th or 9th or something.
Bill Lowen. 9th place, Bill Lowen.
Oh, I missed Bill.
He's been on the show.
That's dollar Bill Lowen.
Dollar Bill Lowen.
Dollar Bill Lowen.
Make sure we get that clear.
Jason Christie didn't have a very good day.
No.
And we're between MLF events.
That we are.
So we're fortunate to have a cool guest tonight. Looking forward to hearing his story. Who we got tonight, Kiki?
I'm going to shuffle that to Mr. John.
John Boy.
Yeah.
And we have a rookie on the BPT tour, but he's not fishing like a rookie, which is not surprising to me. He's fished 23 MLF events. He won a couple of them. One was the 24 Tackle Warehouse Lake Champlain event. I remember that one. That was a good event. Not sure what the other one was he won, maybe a BFL or something. But 10 top 10s, 23 out of 23 MLF events. And the first 2 BPT tournaments, 2nd place on both of them. And dang near won the first one. Dang near won the second one. And leading the Angler of the Year points for the BPT as a rookie, which I assume has him in the Rookie of the Year lead as well.
You would think. Yeah,
I would think. I'm not sure if they have that award, but they probably do. Jacob Walker from Springville, Alabama.
What's up, Jacob?
And he's got the kids.
Yeah,
What's that young man's name?
they're getting out of here. We got Miller and Max, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So
Miller and Max.
it's all day chaos around here.
Well, you got 2 grandpas and another dad here, so we understand.
Yeah.
And we're glad to have the kids too.
Yeah, we don't care. We don't care. So how are you?
Man, I'm doing better than I deserve for sure.
I mean, you are doing well. That doesn't surprise me though. It really doesn't. Especially, Gunnersville being the first event. I figured you'd do well there, and you dang near pulled that one off. That was exciting.
Yeah, that was fun. I'm sure it was fun to watch. It was fun to fish too.
It was really fun to watch. And then last week, almost did it again.
Yeah, just one bite away both times, man. Super close.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for that format and being that close the first two tournaments. That's for sure.
So what's it like fishing that format? What are the goods or the things you didn't expect you would feel, or,
It's
what's it like?
you have to be very strategic for sure. That's the first thing that I've learned real quick is, having to catch as many fish as you can. It's not like a 5-fish format where you can go catch, one off a dock in this creek and run to another creek, catch another one off it. Like for Grand, for example, there's not just a giant population of 4-pounders everywhere, and you have to be real selective with what you set the hook on. And so, in that format, having to catch as many fish as you do to actually compete, you have to be extremely strategic with where you fish. You can't go back, and go run water the third or fourth day, hoping that, you're going to go catch 5 or 10 fish out of one stretch of bank again. So it's extremely strategic, and it's very challenging for sure. I've been fortunate to have the first two on places that I have history and have a pretty good history on. I have some past knowledge on those two places, so that definitely helped me. But who knows, going into new bodies of water like we're about to next week in Texas, it could be a challenge for sure. I'm expecting a challenge.
Yeah. So when you're talking strategy, how much does, and knowing the format, like you got to get through the first couple days, and then, so are you learning do you catch as many as you can? Are you trying to win to get into the final day without fishing, or are you trying to save fish?
Well, I think at Gunnersville, I was able to do that, because I was really keyed in on what was going on, and having so much knowledge of the lake, I felt confident enough that I had enough water to, if some guys were fishing the same stuff that I was fishing or whatever, I had plenty of backup plans there. At Hartwell, I would not have chosen to win because it was constantly changing every day. We had a big rain like Sunday before the event, so there was, changing water conditions, mud lines moving further out of the creeks, and so being able to stay on the water was extremely beneficial on the third day for me, going into the fourth day, because the first 2 days I caught all my fish out of the back of what's called 6 and 20. And then on the third day, I went back. I said, I'm going to give myself an hour. And if I don't catch more than, 1 or 2 fish, then I'm going to get out of there. And I caught one. It was actually a big one. It was like a 4 3/4, but I caught it. And then I gave myself another 15 minutes. If I didn't get another bite, I was going to move. So I left and was able to use that third day as kind of practice. Went up the Seneca River to another creek. And, it opened my eyes that there was a good population in there and that I was going to be able to, fish in there on the final day. So, I would say I'm never going to choose to win unless I have knowledge of what's really going on and have good backup plans. And that's hard to do with 2 days of practice. That's another problem. It's not a problem, but it's another challenge is that we only have 2 days of practice. So you very rarely get to put eyes on everything, much less get to thoroughly fish it all. So, and then having, a scope period and then 2 non-scope periods, it's extremely useful. Like guys like Drew that are so good at it, they can go fish 1 period and then just kind of sit back and see what everybody else is doing the other 2 periods, where a lot of us, we have to grind it out, in those other 2 periods. And so, it's very challenging. It's extremely, mentally challenging on you for sure. I've never been so worn out after fishing a tournament other than those 2. Obviously being so close and like fishing your heart out right there at the end, that puts a lot of stress on you too. But being close to the cut line, having to worry about that too. It's just so much stress. I like it though. It puts pressure on me and makes me fish hard.
Yeah.
It definitely changes, you can't slack up at all. There's no slack. You have to stay on it. And man, they don't show you, but those guys update you. It seems like every 5 minutes, it's like, oh, he caught another one. Oh, this guy just caught 3, It's like you feel like they're sitting there holding a night crawler, just waiting on you to catch one, and they're going to catch two. So
I was just going to ask you that. Do you have a choice? Like, can you tell the guy to shut up? Like, not shut up, but don't you know? Hey, I don't want to hear an update every 5 minutes, or do you? Or maybe you do.
There's definitely a required amount of updates that they're supposed to give us, but it seems like that required amount goes up when there's more pressure on the line. You know, when you're up higher in the leaderboard or closer to the cut line, it seems like those updates come a lot faster, whether you want them or not. You know, and it's not a bad thing, man. Like I said, I kind of like it. It puts pressure on me and it lets me know what's really going on. But sometimes, man, it's just like you just want to put earplugs in for a few minutes and, you know, keep fishing. But it's really nice, man. I've been fortunate. I've had really good marshals, and you know they'll get excited for you when you're doing well and catch a big one or something like that, man. And they're all fishing people. They're all good guys, and so I've been very fortunate so far to have some really enjoyable marshals. That makes it a lot easier too, having somebody that really enjoys it and wants you to do well.
Have you ever had a marshal named Chris Jeffrey?
Not that I can think of.
You'd know. He's like 6'5".
No, I haven't had that yet. I would keep that out of my boat because I'm already big enough. There's already not enough room.
Super nice guy, but he's an official. He lives in Kansas and been on the show. We've had him on the show. He's a friend of ours.
Most of them are really cool guys, man. That's for sure.
Yeah. So when they're giving you the updates, if it's do they tell you whether or not the angler is using scope or not?
Yeah. So we can ask basically anything that you can see on the regular score track. We can see there's like a score track insider, which I think gives information about what lures they're using or stuff like that. But we can't view that, but we can view, you know, total amount of fish. I think, you know, how big they were. And then we can see who's using scope, who's not. I definitely started using Score Tracker to my advantage. Like at Hartwell, when I knew that I had qualified I think it was into the third day. Or maybe it was I was into the third day. I took an hour and went and kind of explored that creek, and I pulled in there, and there was 4 guys in there. And I was able to like pull in and say, what's he got? When's the last time he caught a fish? And then, you know, I kept idling. There's another guy. I said, what's he got? When's the last time he caught a fish? And idled through that creek. There was 4 guys and none of them had caught a fish in the last like hour and a half. And so I was like, well, probably don't need to be fishing in here. So that, you know, it's and those were guys that were trying to catch them too. So that eliminated water for me right there. But, it's a really cool tool, and I'm going to learn more about how to use it, you know, use it to your advantage for sure. But
yeah, that's the first time I've kind of heard that strategy right there. Maybe they're keeping it secret, Jacob.
Yeah.
I think it's way too obvious of a strategy for people to talk about.
I would think.
Yeah. Like at daylight, you know, you go running, you see kind of, obviously we have a 30-minute ride around period. And, you know, if you start like on the back, let's just say at Gunnersville, the back side of Browns Creek Bridge, and you see somebody start on the front side of it, you know, I can say, hey, give me every update that Jake Lawrence has or whatever. And so every time he's catching one, it's sitting there ticking in my head like, you know, he's catching 2 to my 1 or 3 to my 1, you know. And so I've got to definitely learn how to use it more for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very, very interesting. I hadn't even thought of that stuff yet. I mean, that's the difference between the 3 of us who can barely catch a fish and you. Well, Kyle's pretty good fisherman.
Why does he always include us like that, Kyle?
I don't know.
Because it's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
I know John can catch him. He's lying.
So
If you throw him one.
yeah. If I'm only at Logan Martin in Alabama is about the only place I can catch fish.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So what's the next event?
We go to Lake Waco and Lake Whitney. So we start on Whitney is the first 2 days. Waco is the next 2. And for these events, we actually get like 2.5 days of practice. So I'm going to actually use, I may change my mind, but I think I'm going to use my first half day of practice and go to the second lake, which is Lake Waco. And I'm just going to ride around, look at watercolor, shallow cover. Look, I probably won't even drop my trolling motor. Might idle a few obvious places and see if there's some brush, see if that's a common thing for guys to drop brush, and just kind of get a feel for that second lake. And then I'm going to spend the second half of my first day and then the remaining 2 days on Whitney. Because we're on these multi-lake events, we get to practice on the last day. We don't have an off day. So I want to spend as much time closer to Whitney as possible. I think a lot of guys will probably do the opposite and practice Waco, on the end of practice. But I think it's going to be more important to be on Whitney for that. So that's kind of my plan for that.
How are you?
You say hey?
Hi, buddy.
He's going to be shy. But yeah, we got, me and Jake Lawrence, we room together and we'll break down these places together. And, he's got a different style when it comes to scoping or non-scope. So it's good having a kind of a good teammate that you can kind of work with and trust his opinion.
Yeah.
But he wants to be on here, I guess. But
Well, you gave him to mom. He starts bawling.
But so we'll work together. We can't be extremely specific about areas. It's kind of there's a radius that you can't be inside of when you talk about an area. But we can talk about fishing boat docks in Browns Creek or something like that. But you can't say, hey, go fish that blue topped one. So we're gonna work together like we always do and try to break it down. He's good at fishing offshore, and I feel like I'm good at catching them up shallower. So we'll come up with a good plan and kind of attack it.
Mm-hmm. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh man,
See yourself?
I have no idea. That's a hard question. I mean, obviously, I love fishing this format. I love fishing high level tournaments. That's what I want to do forever. But obviously it's not guaranteed to catch a fish, and you can get kicked out just as quick as you can get in. So hopefully I'll still be around. I think I'm real confident in my decision to fish MLF. The money's real good. The company's real good. I fished both of them, man. I got friends on both sides. Everybody's real nice either way, but at the end of the day, it's a career for me. And so unless something changes, I'm going to stay over on this side of things. There's a lot of good opportunity to make a lot of money. So, I looked at it comparing bass and MLF. It seems like with bass, if you're not winning events, it's hard to make a good living. So I'm confident in my ability to make, have the support from sponsors to be able to, pay my way. And then at that point, it's my ability to make the money, fishing ability. So I'd rather bet on my fishing ability to make money than sponsors. So that's why I choose to fish MLF.
There you go.
Nothing wrong with bass. No, I'm definitely not saying anything wrong there. It's just works best for me for sure.
Yeah. Are you do you still work at Mark's Outdoors?
No,
Are you just fishing?
I just left a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to. I feel like I've been putting my effort across so many different things, and I just kind of wanted to tune that down to as few things as possible. And so we'll see how it goes. If everything keeps going well, then I probably won't have to go back. But
Is that Tackle Shop?
yeah, in Birmingham, Alabama. It's a phenomenal store.
It's one of the best tackle stores I've ever been in.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
It was a great spot, great stepping stone. Made a lot of good connections working there. So
I mean, there is one
one
problem that you got when you're at Mark's, and you got to work at Mark's. I mean, you got to deal with Big John.
That's right. That's right, for sure.
Hopefully, He watches every once in a while.
Yeah, I'll be sure to make sure he's watching.
That dude, old Big John,
He's a good one.
he is a good guy. He's one of those guys. When I first joined his club, he was one of the guys you had to beat.
Yeah.
But then he went to work at Mark's. And he worked at Mark's and heard so much chatter about what they were doing on every from every different guy that came in the store. From that point on, he struggled a little bit. I think he just thought about it too much. Too much doc talk for John.
Yeah, Doc Talk definitely got the best of him. He was good at picking his partners and stuff too.
He's very good at picking his partners.
Was he like cutting discounts to certain people who fish with him, or what?
Oh yeah, no, that's 100% what was going on.
Nice.
Kind of scared and then kind of caught on to that, I think.
He was just a good negotiator, is what it sounds like.
Very good negotiator. Good dude though.
Yeah.
Kyle, you got something you want to?
I want to talk about a couple of his sponsors that I think are pretty fancy.
Okay.
So you got a big old giant mega bass on the side of your boat. I'm a huge mega bass fan. I have been for a long time. And, obviously this time of year is really good for jerk baits.
Absolutely.
So can you talk about maybe a couple of your favorite go-to colors and what I don't know if you know or not, but what's the deal with the old ones with the straight eye versus the new ones with the slant eye and all that crap?
I haven't gotten into the collector stuff like that. On the Megabass side of things, I think it's more kind of like the old Excalibur versus the Booyah thing. I don't know really any difference at all there. It's just kind of the nostalgia probably of having those older baits that not a lot of guys have. But you talk about Megabass, let's just talk about jerk baits in general. Megabass has a lot of jerk baits. Obviously the 110 is kind of the standard, but they have a wide variety. There's a ton of other jerk baits. And one that you probably have not thrown that a lot of people haven't is called an Ito Shiner. And it's a 120 size. It's much larger. It comes with bigger factory hooks, number 4s. They're much stronger. And that bait actually has a cup in the lip of it. And we have a pool, so I get to throw stuff and actually see it, real time, 40, 50 feet away, what really happens. And when I'm fishing for big largemouth or real aggressive spotted bass, smallmouth, especially fish that are feeding on gizzards, that Ito Shiner with that cupped lip in it, you can on slack line, not so tight, but real slack line, you get like a super wide, it's almost twice as far of a walk with that Ito Shiner because of the cupped lip. And they have another one called an X80 that has the same design. So that's something, if you're a Megabass guy, something to check out for sure. And that Ito Shiner casts really well. It's real heavy. If it gets real windy and you can't cast one as far, normally that Ito Shiner will outcast every other one. But when it comes to colors,
hold on just a minute. I want to hold you up for just a second. So you're right. The smaller one I wasn't familiar with. Something else, another question. So, and this is a dumb one, but I really like a floating rogue in certain places for specific reasons.
Right.
Do they make a good floating, bigger profiled?
I think I think they make a 110 floating, and I don't know about anything bigger, but I haven't gotten into floating. I mean, the only place around here is like Logan Martin in the wintertime, like super shallow road beds and stuff that you would use one for. But generally when I throw one, I'm always throwing it above fish, that are a little bit deeper, trying to get a reaction and make the fish come up to eat it. So I haven't really played around with the floating versions of jerk baits. I know one thing that's super popular is guys taking styrofoam cups and super gluing the styrofoam on the top of the jerkbait to make it float. So
yeah.
But I think they make a 110 floating.
It's just kind of a popular technique that has kind of sort of went by the wayside a little bit, but and the fish kind of get around that I want to spawn kind of time. It's a floating rogue or a bomber long A was kind of a.
Oh yeah, I love a long A. Yeah. Yeah, they do have a new one called a SR. It's a shallow running Vision 110, and it has the cup lip also. And then there's a new one called an SSR that's not out yet. That's
Cool.
super, super shallow runner. So be on the look for that one.
Interesting.
Yeah. And there's some really cool, man. I probably shouldn't be talking about this, but there's some really cool new topwater stuff coming out too. There's a walking bait that's phenomenal. It's got swiveled hook hangers, and it's going to be really, really good. I've been testing those in my pool actually, and I'm excited to get that one out there.
So something other, another mega bass lure that I've had a really hard time catching fish on is their square bill.
Which one? The S crank?
Yes, the S crank.
Yeah. So it's a really it's a wide hunting bait. It's a big profile too, man. It's not your average like 1.5. The 1.5 S crank is a big crankbait.
But that's one of the things that appealed to me about it. It was
the body.
beefy. Yeah.
Yeah, throwing it in my pool, you can watch that bait just on a straight retrieve. You don't have to change your cadence or anything like that. That bait will track, and then it'll run like a foot to the left or to the right, and then straighten back up and do it again. As for me, where I like to throw a square bill, I want to keep it on the bottom. I like to keep contact with it, and I don't know if it's that beneficial in that situation. But if you can keep it, off the bottom and get that hunting action that bait has, I think it's really good.
Okay.
But like for where most people want to throw a square bill, which I imagine is probably where you like to throw one, you're hitting the bottom. And so I don't know if it's that good for that style. I think it's better for actually keeping it up off the bottom because of that wide hunting action. If you talk about like fishing real shallow, a little small, maybe like a 1.2 size, it dives about 2.5 feet. It's got a circuit board lip. It's real.
Griffin? Is that what you're talking about?
Which one?
The Griffin? Is that what
No, it's called a Blowly. 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 It's a new one from last year.
Okay.
And, it's a really, really good bait. It's got a real aggressive wobble to it. When they're up real shallow, like on riprap, stuff like that, you can get a crankbait to run really well where you can't, like a 1.5 will just be like all snagged up on the bottom. It's just blowing out. It doesn't look good. That Blowly does really well. So that's probably a bait I'll be throwing over there if I had to bet.
Cool.
Yeah, that's another good one to check out. But there's a color in that Ito shiner. It's called a Wagon Hasu, and it's a dark bluish green back with silver sides, and then it has like streaks that come down the side of this green. It looks just like a big gizzard shad, man. It's awesome. So if you're ever fishing around big gizzard shad, that Ito shiner Wagon Hasu, that's the color. In Florida, it works real well in Florida, Gunnersville, places like that.
Interesting. Definitely interesting to hear a color like that. 3/4 of the colors that mega bass have look amazing to me. Can't pronounce hardly any of the names.
Yeah,
I think that's maybe why one of my favorites is Pro Blue and Table Rock.
Yeah, I love Pro Blue, man. That's a fish catching bait. We did a media event this fall at Gunnersville, and I think I caught in one day I caught 120. I caught 70 from like daylight to about 3, and then from 3 to 6 I caught 50 on a Pro Blue. And I was really hoping those fish were going to stick around for our first event, but they hit the road on me and they hit the highway. But it's a bait that kind of got, it got super popular with live scope, and then we got into the whole soft bait, the minnow thing, and then it just kind of faded away. But my gosh, man, in the last year or two, it's really been a player in my arsenal because I just feel like so many people have thrown it in the rod box and they hadn't forgot about it, but they don't pick it up as often. So It's a fish catching bait for sure. And it's extremely easy for guys that are learning with live scope, man. It doesn't sink. That's one thing. Like I'll do some guiding and stuff, and I hear guys that can't find their bait, they can't see their bait, and they get in my boat, and I'll show them, man, you can take that jerk bait, throw it out there, reel it down 2 or 3, twitches, and then you can use your live scope to find your bait and get an idea, of your range, how far a bait is away from you. So if anybody's learning live scope, that's the easiest bait to learn distance and depth and all that with. Yeah,
100%.
That's me.
Yeah, well, tie a 110 plus one on and go out there and line up with poles, anything like that, obvious markers that you can cast at, and get a good range of where, put that pole off to your right at 2 o'clock, scan your live scope over to it, make a cast, and then you get a good range of your left and right. That way you don't have to cast at something straight in front of you.
That's the juice right there, bub.
Yeah, John. Yeah.
So bait mods, jerk bait mods. Do you take off the external trebles and put something juicy on? Do you take lead wire and wrap around shanks? What?
If I'm gonna change anything at all, it depends on the size of the fish I'm catching and how aggressive they are. So, like spotted bass and smallmouth, I like to change the hooks and up and just in the thickness of the hooks, so I can be a little bit stronger on them. When I'm catching a lot of fish, like at Gunnersville in the fall, I'll up my size just so I can boat flip more of them and don't have to worry about straightening hooks out and stuff. But I think overall, if you can leave the stock hooks on, you're going to get the best action out of that bait and the true, suspend ratio. There's actually a new hook that's coming out too. It's on the SRs right now, but Megabass has a new nano style hook that's going to come factory now to replace all the black nickel ones, and it's much stronger for its diameter. So still a super light wire hook, but it's much stronger. So
that nano coating is extremely popular.
What'd you say?
I said that nano coat, those nano coated hooks are extremely popular, aren't they?
Yeah, it's gaining popularity. I'm not a huge fan for smallmouth, but for largemouth and spotted bass, I'm good. I don't mix very well with smallmouth and the nano hooks. I don't know if Kenta Kamara actually taught me about that those slick coat hooks are something about smallmouth. And like if you catch a smallmouth, like the ones I catch below Pickwick or below Wilson Dam, if you hold them, they're hard to hold, because they relate to rock bottom, and I think their slime coat's really thick to protect themselves from the rocks. And so I think using nano hooks is actually not the best idea for smallmouth because they go in fast, but they come out fast too. So I lean more towards a black nickel for that. But I don't weight them. I don't weight them a ton. I just kind of I'll change the bait that I've got. If I'm throwing a regular 110, I need to get deeper, I'll throw a +1. If I need to get beyond that, I'll throw a +2. And if he's beyond that, I'm not going to catch him on a jerk bait. So
yeah,
kind of my deal. Now, we don't have extreme cold weather where you've got to have that long pause. Like I know the further up you get, you probably need that. So for our fish down here in the wintertime, if they get deeper than, let's say 15 or 20 foot, you can still hit them with a jig head and a minnow and get those fish to react where you might not be able to in some places. But I just changed I'll have 5 different jerk baits tied on, different models, not even colors, just different models for any situation like that.
I like it. And something else I noticed, you got depths on your jersey.
Yeah.
And you probably got a truckload of Sakamatas.
Yeah, so I'm Megabass hard baits and depth soft baits, which is I'm very fortunate to be in this situation. And I do have enough. But I don't take, this is one thing that I always, say whenever people come up, man, every day, it does not matter where I'm at, people come up. But I don't take advantage of my situation. I'll tell you that. I'm very smart with what I'm going to use, and I don't ask for 200 packs or something, because I know that's unrealistic to what I'm actually going to use. So I make sure I do the right thing there. And
So can you call Tackle Warehouse and say, okay, I'm Jacob Walker. I want to fulfill Kyle's order, and like send them the baits, and then
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that many. I don't want to do that.
I'm just kidding you, bub. I'm waiting on them.
They one thing I'll tell you, if I can give you any advice, is when you start seeing, you can put yourself down for an email to let you know when stuff comes in stock at all these different places. Whenever one store gets them, the next store is going to get them. The next store is going to get them. Then you'll notice a pattern to shipping times and what stores get what when. If you see it one place 2 days from now, they're going to have it. And so that's the way it works, man. They ship in sizes. They don't ship in colors or anything like that. So when 4-inch comes out, everybody's going to get 4s. 6-inch right now, 7-inch just shipped everywhere. So you'll see 7-inch start hitting some places here this week.
I've been told, and not from really any of my friends that I know of, because we're not big giant minnow shakers up here. But I guess that Sakamata is the way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. There's
what makes it better, or maybe different than just your run of the mill, baby Z2 or whatever.
So I would say there's a few things. The consistency of the bait, in how you can almost go down in size of a jig head for the weight of the bait. And then that allows the bait to work a lot more natural. Shad very rarely swim with their noses down. And so like you take something like a Z2 or a Mooch Minnow or a Super Fluke Junior or whatever you want to take, I can do it in my pool. I get to watch it, you can remain a much more like hovering style action with the Sakamata a lot easier by using a lighter weight jig head. But then the consistency of the bait, it's much softer on like the midsection to the back end of the bait. And one thing I will say, everybody tries to achieve this rolling action, and that is a big deal. But I've spent a lot of time watching it, and you'll be surprised that it's very rare that your bait actually rolls this side to side thing. And it's one of the few baits that actually maintains a rolling action, a large percentage of the cast. A lot of other baits really don't, but it's pretty crazy. There's obviously, I can say and think whatever I want to think. There's obviously something about it. It's the most winning minnow for live scope, hands down. No matter if guys hold it up or not, I promise you, there's nothing that's won as much money as that bait. 100%.
I completely jumped around all winter. I don't know if that's my voice or not, but I'm sorry if it is, the Kraken. But I jacked around all winter and waited to order them, and so here I am. But that's kind of my motto was, if I'm going to get better at something, I need to try to order the best bait for the technique that I possibly can. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely, there's everybody throws it, no matter who holds what up. I've gotten to see a lot of it, sold a bunch of them to people working at the store. But there's definitely other minnows and other times that I will throw something else. If you get really dialed into a thread fin versus a gizzard, or the watercolor at some places, like I may want to throw a 4-inch size, but that 4-inch Sakamata is such a smaller profile. I may have to go throw a freeloader or something that's got a bigger profile that's still mimicking the size of bait fish. So there's plenty of other baits that'll catch them out there. But like I said, there's nothing that has competed like that bait for sure.
And then I think it was Hartwell where you were pretty much up on the bank, looked like you were flipping a little bit.
Yeah.
Chatterbaiting?
Yeah, I was throwing a chatterbait. Throwing a chatterbait and a big square bill.
Okay. So you like the shallow games too, and I heard you make the comment a little bit ago that you and Jake Lawrence are roommates and you're good at shallow. So talk about your chatterbait and what you think sets yourself apart from some others.
I would say I have a couple tricks. I changed my blade on a bunch of them. That's one thing that I don't talk about a lot. I changed the blade, whether that's color or size or different manufacturers. I've spent, I don't know how much money buying a chatterbait just for the blade on it, and that, like I said, that could be a different manufacturer or a different color. I used to buy jackhammers of different colors and swap the blades around. But they see a bunch of white nickel blade jackhammers, and so I've done some crazy stuff. I've put black blades on a nickel one. It just kind of depends on the situation, but different chatterbait brands too. One thing that I throw a lot that you can't find. I heard. It's all right. One thing that I throw, there's no telling what's going on up there. But one thing I throw a bunch that you can't find anywhere, and I'm sorry that I'm going to tell you this because you're going to go try to find them and you're not going to be able to, is called a Raid Max Blade, MAXX. And that's I threw it a bunch at Hartwell. It comes stock with a weed guard in it. You can throw it around heavier cover, and the weight actually transitions further down the hook shank, so you can throw a half ounce, but it doesn't ride as deep in the water column. So I can get the casting distance with a half ounce, and it has a different vibration. I mean, I get into like the blades and weight sizes and stuff like that, depending on the forage, what they're eating, the watercolor. If I'm fishing on boat docks, I'll throw a much bigger blade to float the bait higher on floating docks. It just kind of depends. If I had to bet, I'll probably be doing over there at Grand. And, you'll see me pick up, if it's a chatterbait tournament, I'm going to have 6 of them tied on. And that could be different variations in weight size, blade size, the trailer that I'm throwing. And I do throw mine a lot on braided line too. I throw on braid with a leader. And that helps me definitely, maybe not for getting bites, but it helps me recognize when I don't get a bite that it's time to change colors or weight sizes. I can feel the fish track my bait really well with braided line. So if you watch some of the footage of me catching them, and I'm throwing it on braid, you'll see my head change seconds before they'll eat it. And that's me recognizing that one's behind it. So that's a little trick. I don't skip boat docks with braid, but whenever I'm covering a bunch of water, making a lot of casts, I throw a braid with a leader. And that helps me feel, like I said, the most important thing is feeling the fish that don't bite it, because then that tells me I need to change my color. I need to change, the size. There's something going on that made that fish not eat it. So I keep a ton of them on the deck. That's something that I picked up on a few years ago. It's a bait that every top 10 article, I'd say 90% of them, there's somebody holding a chatterbait, and I want to be better. I told myself 5 years ago, I want to be better than everybody else at throwing it. So it's a bait that I have 90% of the time on my deck, if not 100.
So you kind of alluded to it a little bit, and I'm not gonna repeat you. If guys want to know about that blade, they can play the video more than once after it records.
Yeah. It's a Raid Max blade. It's extremely hard to find, and if you're gonna go try to find them, I've already bought them. So
what I was gonna comment about is it sounds like you like to tinker with your tackle.
Oh yeah.
And I love piddling with tackle. About 2 weeks ago, this whole table that my laptop's sitting on was covered in junk and different things. I like piddling with spinner baits, honestly. But you mess with anything else other than chatterbaits, or you just?
I don't have. You don't. It's not going to be as big of a player for me nowadays because of the format and how I've got to fish. But one thing that I got really dialed in with was flipping jigs and different trailers and different shape heads. flipping boat docks, flipping trees, flipping, bluff style banks, flipping the Coosa River, all the current we have up the river. And that's something that I got extremely comfortable with. And, I still do it a ton, but it's, nowadays, man, I have to cover so much water, and it's not a player all the time. But when there's an event where it's gonna play, I'll have something figured out. You know what I mean? If it's a 5/8 with a super chunk on it, or a 3/8 with a rage crawl or something on it, I'll dial it in. I'll get real specific with that. But I'd say a jig and a chatterbait are probably my main two right there.
Man, give me some flooded cover and some dirty water, and let me swing at them.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Sure. I can't wait. I can smell it in the air. It's almost like that.
Yeah, it's about to go down next week in Texas. So I really hope it's about to happen.
What's your favorite, or maybe your top 2 or 3 chatterbait trailers?
So
and why?
I almost exclusively throw a paddle tail swim bait, and I normally throw a 5-inch. So something 4 to 5-inch, depending on what they're eating. If they're eating gizzard shad, I'll throw something like the Reaction Innovations Skinny Dipper is one that I throw a ton. It's real long and it mimics a gizzard a lot better. And then there's a company called Double A's, which is owned by Optimum Bait Company. They make the hand poured stuff, and they have one called a Bad Bubba Shad. It's a 4-inch. It's got a really, really good thread fin profile with it's not a super big paddle tail on it. So whenever I'm fishing around thread fins, that's the trailer there you go.
Uh-oh.
Y'all have an Amazon deliver to your house at 9:00 at night?
Yeah.
Hey, Maverick, come here. But
get the gun.
But anyways, that Double A's Bad Bubba Shad is a good thread fin imitator, and so I just kind of, I think the forage is the thing I pay attention to the most, what they're eating on, and then I break it down with the trailer that I'm going to throw. But that Double A's Bad Bubba Shad is pretty bad. It's that hand poured plastic's real durable, man. You can put one on, fish with it all day. And you saw me at Gunnersville. I was throwing a Mayer, and it's the only 4.5-inch paddle tail in that red crawl color that I could get my hands on. And so we actually made it with that Double A's. Now he sells that Bad Bubba Shad in the fire crawl color. So I'm looking forward to getting back up there and slinging that around for sure.
Nice. So back on Gunnersville, I was just, it was pretty cold, chilly that whole time. And what made you fish as shallow as you were fishing when everybody else was like, they can't be up there, it's too cold?
Yeah. I'll say this about Gunnersville, and it kind of reciprocates a lot of places on the Tennessee River. Me and Jacob talked about this a bunch. For some reason on that, especially on that lake, and it happens everywhere, the shallower that water is, the faster it warms up. Now, I don't know how those fish know, we talked about, I don't know if they have a radio and they say, hey man, it's 55 degrees up here, dude. Come on. There's something, especially on that lake, that those fish, they know, you know what I mean? And I went the last 2 hours of practice, and I had 4 bites doing it. And I could just tell by how aggressive they were, how fast they ate my bait, how fast they moved after I hooked them, that it was going down. You know what I mean? And I didn't even practice it a ton. I just went off my gut, and I could just tell by the way they were eating it. Man, when they literally cut your line, and you have to, I had to throw it on an 8-to-1 reel because they were hitting it so hard and so fast, I couldn't keep up with them. And so that was, it just happens on that lake, man. I don't know why it happens so much more there than everywhere else. But that shallower water, it does cool off faster, but it sure warms up a lot faster too. So, and then I was able to fish, the eelgrass typically grows in about 3 to 6 foot. And then you'll get hydrilla and milfoil out there in 6 foot, 5 foot and beyond. So I was able to fish hydrilla, milfoil, eelgrass, and pad stems all on one cast. was no secret. I was fishing around pad stems, but hey, buddy, a lot of that is because I was able to hit that transition from pad stems, eelgrass to hydrilla all in one cast. And so that change is where a lot of times those fish sit. And if they slid out a little bit more, I'd catch them close to my boat. And if they got up there shallow, I was going to catch them on the pad stems.
You think the shallower water with those pad stems warms up more too because the pad stems are like a dark brown?
No, but I'll tell you why. It's because the pads block the sun in the summertime, and there's no grass that grows below those pads, so it's all just hard bottom up there.
Oh,
You get hard bottom with vertical cover. Bass almost always like a vertical cover, and you got hard bottom with a vertical cover. The sun hits it and it warms up, and it can be, I mean, it can be ridiculous if you get dialed in on it. It was pretty ridiculous in our tournament, for sure. That last day, I had 31-14 with my best 5. I mean, that was pretty unbelievable, seriously.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It sure was. I wish I wouldn't even turn live scope on that tournament, but
Yeah.
I had to.
So what is your you said braid, but what's your basic setup for chatterbait or your standard, whatever, your top 3?
I'd say like a 7.4. I like a longer rod, a 7.4 medium heavy. It's the Phoenix M1 series is what I throw. That longer rod allows me to get a further cast, pick the slack up better. You know, when I do make a long cast, I'm able to penetrate the hook on those fish. And for me, I'm a little bit taller, so I can skip with that 7.4. I have no problem around docks making an accurate cast. But and I exclusively throw an 8-to-1 reel. I can always change my cadence. I can slow the reel down a lot faster, and I can speed it up. So a lot of guys throw 6-to-1 or 7-to-1, but I always throw an 8-to-1. I can get the bait in when I make a cast. If it's a bad cast, I can get it back in and get it back in the water much faster. But I always, I always remember as soon as I pick a rod up, if it's got braid or fluorocarbon, I work my drag a little bit more with my braided line rods. I don't set the hook nearly as hard. You have to definitely compensate for throwing braid, but when it's good and you can get away with it, man, it's hard to beat throwing it on braid for sure. And then other than that, I almost always throw 20-pound fluorocarbon. Skips really well. I can float the bait high if I want to. And I'm always putting my chatterbait where it shouldn't go. So having it on 20 definitely helps.
And what size braid typically?
40. I use 40-pound. And I'll run a 20-pound leader on that too. I don't tie any kind of crazy knot. I think you call it Alberto, but it's strong and it works. So, but the best thing about that braid is if you get really dialed in with it, being able to feel the fish behind the bait, and like unless you're looking at it with live scope, you don't know if you're throwing on fluorocarbon, you very rarely know if one's on it. And man, it was like at Hartwell, I lost the tournament by one fish, and I can't tell you how many of them I had track my bait that never bit it. And it's like just kills me thinking about it because I know I had probably 10 fish that last day that didn't eat my bait that I had to follow the bait out, 20, 30 feet. Yeah.
Something just feels different when you're winding it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, explain that a little bit, what you're saying there, because I kind of get it, but just talk about that for just a second.
The best way to explain it is like, you know how when you throw a crankbait and you're winding it and you get like a piece of scum on the hook, and like there's something on there, but it still has that vibration, that wobble to it, but something's not right. Okay, but you get it in and there's a piece of scum hanging off of it. That's the best way to explain how that feels. That's the only way to explain it, really, is that there'll be a subtle change in the vibration, and all that is the fish tracking behind the bait, changing how that blade's vibrating on the front. And I'll change my cadence up, twitch the rod. I'll do something to try to generate a strike. But a lot of times if they follow it for 5 or 10 feet, they're not going to eat it.
I think somebody wants to be on camera.
It's
No,
like
take this box that I got y'all set.
it's like drafting, like in NASCAR.
Yeah, yeah, for
You
sure.
know, the bait changes. Like if somebody's drafting behind that front car, that front car can't do what it normally does.
Right. Yeah, it's exactly the best way to compare it though is when you got one little piece of something hanging off your crankbait. That's exactly what it feels like. But if you go, you can watch the Gunnersville tournament. That 710 I caught. I'm winding the bait, my head's constantly moving, and then all of a sudden I locked in, and it's like I knew there was one on it. Boom! Like 2 seconds after I turned my head, I caught that 710. It's really cool to go back and watch it because I talked about it so much, but I got to really see it there.
Yeah, I don't think I'm that good.
I mean, I remember watching live.
Every once in a while, I'll be like, oh, that felt like something just nudged it or swam by it. You know, something was different, but I don't do that all the time.
Well, it just comes with time on the water.
Mm-hmm.
100%. And trying to learn. That's one thing. Doesn't matter how much I fish, I learn every time I'm out there. I try to learn something. So definitely, that's one thing that I've learned. I've started fishing at Gunnersville a lot more. You know, John, I used to fish the Coosa River a lot, and that's where I'm comfortable. But I realized at a certain point that I wasn't learning anything by fishing there, and so I started making myself like Gunnersville. And man, I had days where I wouldn't catch a fish, or I'd get my teeth kicked in. Man, I wouldn't. It was such a struggle, but I've learned so much by fishing up there.
How do you handle the pressure of a place like Gunnersville? Like when I lived there, I hated to go to Gunnersville. I just did because I like to get off by myself somewhere and, you know, not have to fight anybody. You can't do that at Gunnersville.
No, you can't. That's one thing that I think fishing there is so much has helped me is that I've learned to look for those little subtle differences, or you know, when it's a shell bed or a bluegill bed thing, you know, I'll go look for bluegill beds where most people probably won't look for them. You know, people are going to go look in pockets or creeks, and I'll get out there on the main river and look for them. Or I spend a lot of time. I actually spend a lot of time up the river. That's where I fish a lot. You know, and you can generally get away from people once you get above North Salty. You can get away from guys up there, and you're not going to catch quite as many of the bigger fish up there, but they do live up there, and you got to have the confidence that you're going to catch those bigger ones, but they're not as plentiful as they are down the lake. That's for sure. But spending more time up the river for me has definitely helped with that. You know, Mud Creek, Town Creek up the river. There's a bunch of them up there, but there is times where you cannot get away from them. Gosh, you can't, especially in the summertime when it's a ledge deal and all that, man. It's pretty bad.
Everywhere is a parking lot, huh?
Yeah, it's horrible. They get out there for about 2 weeks, and then it's over. They get all caught up, and everybody's sitting on top of them, and it's over with. I got to see it last year for about 2 weeks. It was really good, and around May, and it was just unbelievable how many big fish were out there grouped up, and how dumb they were, really. But they got smart real quick. 2 weeks. It took about 2 weeks, and it was over.
But I mean, that speaks to Gunnersville, the fishery, too, because I mean, there was a time not too long ago, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, when it went through a down time.
Yep.
But now it's like, even with all this pressure, I mean, they're just whacking them. I mean, y'all did, Bass did.
Gunnersville should definitely be. I say this every time. Every time they do the top 100 or top 20 lakes or top 10 lakes, Gunnersville needs to be number one every single time because it takes that pressure 365 days a year. Now I agree, we go to the St. Lawrence River, and it's just unbelievable, man. It's so much fun. Where Gunnersville, they literally see baits every single day. and it's a testimony to how incredible that place is. And the grass, I mean, it's another testimony to what vegetation does, and that's what's made that place so good. They can hide. They can hide for sure.
Yep, it's awesome.
Absolutely, I love it.
Danny,
What?
I know you're patiently waiting. Patiently waiting.
It is fun I have two questions that I ask every single guest, no matter who it is. And it's kind of fun because just comparing the answers.
All right.
One, we almost know before you tell us. We know what your answer is going to be. But the first question, craziest thing you've ever seen on your sonar screen?
Okay, probably at Lake St. Clair 2 years ago. People act like river sturgeon are just like this super sought after, super hard to catch, like this dinosaur, which they are. But at Lake St. Clair, I have a video on my phone out there in the river channel. As far as I wanted to look, it was thousands of river sturgeon, and I'm talking like 5 to 10 foot long, giant river sturgeon out there. And you see all these videos, people catching sturgeon and like dragging them up on the bank, getting in the water with them, and like they're everywhere out here. It could have been a spawning deal or something that just had them all grouped up, but that was hands down the craziest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it was as far as I wanted to troll. They weren't scared of my boat. They didn't give a crap about me. They were everywhere, and it mind blowing. 100%. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. This giant river sturgeon, and I mean, I can tell how big they are on scope. They were all just huge, 5 to 10 foot long, thousands of them. It was unbelievable.
Snag one and go for a ride.
No, man, I probably shouldn't say this, but I definitely thought about it. I was like, man, how cool would it be to like take a picture with one? But I was like, man, that's not the right thing. I didn't do it. But I probably could have caught one, honestly. I mean, there was so many of them. I probably could have caught one.
Well, I'm going to tell you, after 2.5 seasons of doing this show, that's the first time we've heard river sturgeon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing I've seen for sure.
Wow. Okay, so traveling across the country, you're flying down the interstate. You guys are booking it home, or you're heading to the lake, whichever. You see the billboard, and you're like, "Oh man, I gotta stop." Where are you stopping? And it's probably a food place.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. It depends on what time it is. I will say this. One thing we don't have a ton of is Guthrie's chicken. It's only kind of in Alabama and Georgia, but there's one in Trenton, Georgia. And it always seems like I end up crossing paths at that place. So Guthrie's chicken.
There we go. Cool.
That's
2 for 2 on unique answers.
Yeah.
I was going to say, probably hadn't had that one either.
Yeah, another first.
I was figuring on the old bet.
John, you've had to have had Guthrie's before.
I've had Guthrie's. Yep.
Who's that on your PJs, man?
Who's on your pajamas? Huh? He's shy of the camera, I guess.
Oh.
Spidey. We got a Spider-Man. We got our own personal Spider-Man.
Sweet. I got Bigfoot.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw a Bigfoot?
My neighbor's got a statue of one in his backyard. He's got linked up by his tree out there. I don't really know.
Is it a metal one or a real statue? Like one of them silhouettes?
No, it's like a silhouette thing. It's pretty weird. He's got one in his driveway too that he's got a light that shines up on it by his garage door, and every time I drive by it in the dark, I'm like, what is it? But yeah, I see one every day. That's the last time I saw one was about 3:00 this afternoon.
Can you
Oh, that's
tell us?
awesome.
I hope he's watching. I hope he sees this.
Can you tell us the neighbor's name so Danny can idolize him for a while?
Yeah.
No, I honestly don't even. I probably don't even think I know his name.
If you could not be a fisherman or be in anything in the fishing industry, what would you be doing?
I'd probably like to be a state trooper or a game warden, something like that. Probably a state trooper. I'd like to be able to. I'd like to do that for sure. I'd like to drag one out of the car every once in a while.
You'd be a good state trooper, I think.
Yeah. Everybody says I'm real intimidating. I don't think I am, but everybody says I'm real intimidating, so it might be a good fit for me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
How about a non-fishing hobby?
I don't have one. I don't have time.
Did you play?
Spending time with the kids and stuff. We just bought a new house last year, and we got a pool. We got 10 acres, and so who knows what we're going to be getting into here this summer. So that's my family. So
Awesome.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the way
Good
it should-
answer. Good answer. Did you play sports or anything in school, or did you just fish?
I wasn't that good. I ain't afraid to admit it. But it's all right. My high school basketball coach tells me congratulations every time I do well in a tournament. So
There you go.
He's not too disappointed in me.
There you go. Good. Is there a technique that you dislike, that you really like? If they're doing that and you're like, just, man, I got to do that this week.
I'm probably dragging. Not much of a dragger.
Oh, Kyle loves dragging.
Yeah, I'm a flipper, and I like to be fast. I like to flip. I like to make a flip, let it hit the bottom, and reel it in. Not much on dragging though. Not much.
Are you moving down the bank? What's your trolling motor set at?
Probably on 7 or 8. All the time. Most of the time I look down, it's on 10, but I'd say about 8's where I normally run.
Do you have any cousins in Girard, Kansas?
No.
That's a private joke.
Not related to anybody named Moody.
No.
I'll tell you a real funny. This isn't actually a joke, but I'm saying this is a funny joke. Okay, they're talking about my team partner I fish tournaments with, and he's only got one speed, and that's as fast as a trolling motor will go. And he's got a Lowrance 36-volt Ghost, and he's got this sucker cranked up, and it's buzzbait season, right? So he's in the front, and he's getting after it. You know how I throw in a buzzbait in the back? I let out about 6 foot of line, just hold that 7.5 foot rod, and just
Hold on. Yep.
down the bank.
Yep. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Catch one here and there too.
Probably might have said parallel's fine because I'm paralleling like this.
I'm sure it works.
Because you said 8-to-1 gear ratio reel earlier, I was like thinking to myself, man, I wish they'd make a faster reel than that. I could almost keep up with my buzzbait. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. He don't. We fished together a couple years ago, and I am the complete opposite. My trolling motor's on like 3, and I'm not standing on it. I'm touching it every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm a speed guy for sure.
Yeah.
Cover more.
I probably need to speed up a little bit though. I need to cover some more water, I think.
I'm telling you, after being in the boat with him for a few years, I find myself moving a little bit faster than I used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It works.
So good stuff.
These kids down. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Jacob, we enjoyed having you.
Absolutely.
Be up there.
Back anytime.
And we're probably going to help you bust this second place streak. Why is that, Danny?
Our guest February 12th was Jacob Walker.
Huh.
Our guest before that was who?
Drew Gill.
Drew Gill.
Well,
Tucker Smith has been on our show 3 times in the last year and a half. And so is Pat Schlopper.
And Pat Schlopper.
So we're not saying that our podcast is lucky podcast, but it's a pretty lucky podcast.
well, hopefully I don't break that streak.
You won't. You got to promise to come back on after you win.
All right. Deal. We win.
Okay.
Whitney,
That's it.
I'll be on.
All right.
Bang the gavel. It's
Hey.
stamped right there.
And you never know, maybe you'll see some idiot in a blue champion following you around down the ground.
Hey, bring it on. I love it.
I do have a reservation for you here. Don't forget.
Yep.
And we got 3 or 4 more rooms available. So if you know anybody.
I'll be sure to mention it for sure.
All right. Jacob, good having you.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Y'all
Thanks
good.
for coming.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Good night.
Cool, dude.
Yeah, he's good. He's
On
an
our
Alabama.
kids.
He's an Alabama hammer.
I enjoyed watching him on Hartwell.
You know, I was sitting here recall when he was talking about the live scope and using a jerk bait and using that as a way to teach yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of remembering a lot of the scope hammers that we've had and the different things that they have said. And yeah, when Kyle said, dude, that's the juice, that was some pretty good juice right there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
that's essentially everything that you've been having issues with.
one of the
that
very
I'm aware
first
of,
people, one of the very
that you
first
talked
people
about,
that I
so.
talked to about it, they said,
Yeah, cool guy. Ornery kids. Awesome.
one of the first people I talked to about it, they said, you guys know the old throw buoys. Danny couldn't hear me. And John's froze. Oh boy. Hi, Danny.
Hi.
John's froze up.
We're taking turns tonight.
Thought you were going to say we're taking on water. We're fixing to drown.
Taking on water. Wow. This weekend, it looks like here. Starting Sunday night anyway.
What I was saying before I got this real weird look from you was one of the first things that a guy told me to do when I got mine was he said, take the old school throw buoys, you know, the spot markers.
Oh yeah.
Whatever you want to call them. He said, throw it out there and then just turn around and just look at it from different, distances. And he goes, just practice throwing at that throw buoy in the middle of, but he said, don't do it close to the bank. Do it as far off the bank as possible so you don't try to triangulate something. He said, just do it to where it's sitting by itself,
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big help. Very big help.
I could see that.
But yeah, I enjoyed talking to that guy. It was like I said, I was saying it was really cool watching him at Hartwell toss that chatterbait down the side of them laydowns. And I could do some of that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun.
So close. So close.
It just makes me jealous that stuff like that's happening where it's happening at, and it's not happening here yet.
Yeah. Yeah. We have, ice and snow in our forecast, and
Yeah.
and they're jacking fish. We'll
It's all right.
get there.
I enjoy the seasons to a certain extent. I will say this: I'm in such a better mood because I know that next weekend is the kickoff of the tournament season for me, and I love time change.
Oh, yes.
Bring on spring ahead, man.
Oh, that is next weekend, isn't it?
Yep. See, just put a smile right on your face too. Yeah.
That means I can go out and grill and not have to have the grill light on.
Exactly.
I mean, you can go out and grill something and you don't have to be done by 5:30.
Yes. There's just so much to be thankful for. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
There's just so much to be thankful for, and when it comes down to it, I'm thankful for time change. Spring ahead, to be very specific. I'm thankful for that.
Why? Oh, we could go on forever about that, but there's some states that have left it alone. Like Arizona, there is no time change.
Really?
They leave it on daylight savings year round.
Interesting. I did not know that. And I'm 37. You're telling me you've been telling me for 40 years. I'm just kidding. I didn't know that. And I've got quite a bit of family in Phoenix, but we've never had that conversation, I guess.
Dude, there's a lot going on in the fishing world.
There's a bunch.
I mean, like we said, we're between MLF Bass Pro Tour events.
Yeah.
But they were supposed to start a Tackle Warehouse event today, but it got canceled due to wind.
Saw that. Where was that at, that tournament? Because I saw it as I was looking at pictures of Mr. Jacob. I mean, I'm sure it's in
I'm
a
gonna drop the link.
That's kind of cool that they they canceled or just postponed the day, instead of essentially making the anglers go out and on a day like that.
I mean, there's the safety factor, but you're also you look at the risk of the personal property.
Yeah.
It's going on. NPFL championship is going on. We're 2 weeks out from the Classic.
2 weeks out from the Classic. Bassmaster's putting some funny stuff up on Facebook. I liked the argument over the magazine cover. I thought was pretty funny.
That was pretty good. Did you see the lineup, the entries for the pro? I can't answer him.
Okay.
The celebrity pro-am deal they do the day before the Classic.
I didn't know anything about that.
There's Randy Moss is fishing. Oh goodness, Lavelle, that comedian Lavelle. Gosh dang it, what's his last name? The one that won it last year. He's back in it. Pretty cool.
So that was just before the classic. Then when they did that,
Yeah,
yeah,
just
I remember it. I remember watching it, but I didn't realize that was tied in with the classic, I guess.
oh, true. Yes. Well, John is sending us SOS messages that his computer is locked.
His computer is locked up.
So yes. Jack is absolutely correct. Bassmaster Open at Rayburn last week
Yeah,
had some guys
that was ridiculous.
do some good.
And the I have to say, I mean, if you didn't have a set of fuzzy dice on the boat, not just in your britches, but on your rod and reel, you were making a mistake. I mean, wowzers.
Yeah, buddy.
Peg South.
I was going to tease John about Pake, the Japanese angler. Remember, he told us last week that he didn't know Pake, and he just looked at that and went, "Oh, he must be a Japanese angler, Pake."
I forgot about that.
Oh, funny stuff. Yes, Brock Bieler did. I think he did the best out of our guys in this area. And Brock, long time, fished youth in high school in Kansas. I want to say after day one, he's like 74th in there somewhere, 74, 5, 6, and jumped all the way up to, at one point, he was 8th on Friday. And then as the weigh-in ended, he dropped right out of the cut down to, I think he finished 19th, got a nice check. But most importantly, Brock is leading the AOI for the Opens. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I think I'm not saying this. I think it's a little early, obviously, to be counting the chickens, but because of the long EQ season, but it's a nice notch in the belt. So very nice.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's in the gauntlet right now, and he's just searching for air because it's that those opens are not easy.
Some of the guys that I've talked to personally say that the opens are harder for them than any of the other levels.
Yeah.
Hi, John.
Hello.
Welcome back.
I don't know what happened there. We're just all three of us froze up, and then nothing would work here.
Booted me out.
I was the only one that survived it, and I was
so he did.
I was thinking to myself, well, this is my show, I guess. All of a sudden, and I'm on myself. What do I do with my hands? John looked like the cat that ate the canary. He had some funny looking. He just like that on his face. And I got the feel from Danny that he couldn't hear me because he just like, no.
I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, Dan was talking, and while you were talking, like he couldn't hear you, and then we all froze up.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. Some kind of alien.
Well, we mentioned Bigfoot
takeover.
earlier. We mentioned Bigfoot earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just being a smart aleck, and I said, "When's the last time you saw Bigfoot?" And he said, "Oh, about 3:00 this afternoon."
Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
It's funny.
So Mike Turner, KBN president, in the house that he just moved out of, had it was a long curving driveway up a hill, up to the top of the hill is where the house was built. And on one of the curves, they had an 11-foot tall metal Sasquatch.
Nice.
And it had floodlights on it. So as you came around that little curve, there's the 11-foot Bigfoot standing there in the dark. Things I aspire to. John, do you have a passage or scripture this week?
I really didn't have one prepared.
Way to put him on the spot, Danny.
That's
Yeah.
how I do
Way
it.
to do it.
He's
but
like, "Oh man, I don't have to do it now because my computer is locked up."
I had the verse of the day was pretty good today. Let me get back to it. If I can find it. Pretty short and sweet. Well, we might not have it. Verse of the day.
While you're finding that, I'm snooping at Kiki's tackle storage system.
All right, here's the verse of the day. Short and sweet. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37:4.
Short and sweet. I like it.
Yep.
With all the technical difficulties tonight, and that was feedback on his laptop or whatever he was on, that static. And
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Jesse Cornell's watching, but I'm just going to grab this real quick.
You should come down and fish the jackpot and pre-fish for the next weekend, Kyle. Oh.
Okay, so a little backstory. I walk into my house on Saturday afternoon, and I'm carrying this old, I don't know if there's even a model number on it. I don't remember what it's called, but it's one of the old hip roof Planos.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife's looking at me like, "What in the world?" And I said, "Well, we're all crazy, right?" "Well, yeah. I assume you mean bass fishermen." And I said, "Yeah, ones that, especially the ones that collect tackle." Well, so Jesse lives in Abilene. He's on one of the for sale sites, used tackle, or it was, I don't remember which one it was. It might have even been Reno County. And he says, Dan, is there any chance you'd go buy this tackle box for me? What's in it? Because I'm not a dumbass. I know there's something in the tackle box that he wants. So I'm not going to show it, but I am going to say that I am holding this hostage. And it's pretty full.
I mean, you're not going to show it. You can't just bring it on here and
It's
tease us like
obviously
that and
not-
not show it.
It's obviously not for sale. So break it out, Jack.
You're about to have a mutiny here.
I mean,
The things we would do for old tackle that we can't find anymore.
how many pre-Rapala Wiggleworts are in there?
Oh, there's at least this one. You know, you got to be pretty hard up if you're going to look at a picture of an open tackle box on a for sale site and scan down and blow the picture up and blow the picture up and blow the picture up. Yeah, there's at least one of these in there. Oh.
Green.
Pretty. Oh, it looks nice too.
The lengths we will go to.
Looks like a whatnot box.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Wish I had some inventory, man. That was a fun deal.
Oh, on your whatnot sale?
Yeah. Gibby bought something from me.
Really?
A clutch swim bait. He got a hell of a deal on it too.
Man. Look at that big giant Rapala jerk bait that Kyle's got up there.
Yeah. Yep, had that for a long time.
I had a tackle box like that once when we lived in California. I think I was 5 or 6, maybe 7. And our family was just out for a drive. We lived in Northern California, Lewiston, which is not far from Shasta. So we were driving up Shasta, up the mountain, going around the lake, and there's this tackle box just sitting in the road. A big one, like a little bit bigger than that one you just had. And of course, I'm small and don't know nothing about fishing, but I remember it. And I remember Dad, we stopped, looked all around. No, it wasn't anywhere near where anybody would be fishing. I think it must have fell off somebody's truck or something. And it was just full of, crankbaits, fishing tackle. I think back now and I'm like, wonder what was in that box, really. Because I just remember it was full of lures. That's all I remember. But
maybe one of these days we should have show and tell with tackle boxes.
I don't have anything worth showing. Mine, I've only got, what do you want to see? My tubes collection?
Yeah.
There's one color, maybe 2.
Yeah.
I have one box about like that Plano I just showed that was my dad's, and it is my retirement.
I bet you don't have those tubes though.
Boom boom. No,
No.
I don't. So you've heard me talk about the guy in our church that collects stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he has baseball cards and football cards, and his fishing collection is I don't know. I'm not a collector, so I just can't look at it and see. But if I had, I mean, he's got. When I first went to his house, he goes, "Look, come out in my garage," and I went out in the garage, and he's got like a whole wall of shelves, and they're all full of old tackle boxes that he's picked up here and there. And he goes, "These are all the tackle boxes I haven't gone through yet." And then he takes us in this other room where he has gone through them, and he doesn't he just does it for something to do because he's retired and he's needs to be busy. Like he's a woodworker. If he's not woodworking, he's doing this. And he likes the story. Like he'll find a lure, knows nothing about it, but he'll research, find out what it is. He'll put a little tag on it. He'll write every. They're all in this room. They're all tagged, and some are in cases, nice cases, and some aren't. And some are in like he's super proud of this one tackle box that he got at a garage sale, and he bought it from the daughter of a guy that passed away, and she was telling him that it's just how her dad left it. It's the bag that he bought at Okie Bug was still in there, and with the receipt, with the lures, with the worms that he bought at his last time he went there or whatever. And that's how he left this box. Like he wants to, like he didn't go through it and he'd change anything. He's like, the story is what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he told us the other day that when he passes away, he's given his lure collection to the Lake Lodge.
That's cool.
That is really cool.
To put on display or something. He's like, it'd be a good place for all the fishermen to see and look at. And
that would be very cool.
Absolutely.
Pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
Like, I didn't even know what to say. I'm like, he says, would you like it? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Might have to add on, but you'll figure it out.
I'll definitely have to add on. Problem is we'll probably be retired and gone by the time he is, I would think.
Oh my. Either of you fairly knowledgeable about Xeraspooks or know someone that might be? I've got a couple that I bought at a junk store. I just happened to think of this because it was a brief project for a moment, and then I saw something shiny and went on. But I bought these two old Xeraspooks that like there's the regular size, and then there's the super. They used to make that super.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find any information on a size in between the two, and that's what these two are.
They have a hump in their back.
Huh. I'll have to get them and I'll show them to you. We we'll have show and tackle time.
Well, if we do that, we need to have somebody like Moody on.
Yeah.
Or somebody like Bernie Schultz.
Yeah.
On.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I'd
Bernie,
like to have Bernie on.
but Bernie wouldn't smoke cigars.
True.
I'd be in such a fog that I wouldn't even know what was going on.
So I just Googled it. It says the 3 sizes of spooks are 3.5-inch Super Spook Junior,
Mm-hmm.
a 5-inch Super Spook, and the larger Super Spook XT.
Probably a saltwater version.
Oh, you know what? That
or
could be.
specialized saltwater version.
That could
So
be.
my favorite spook in my box right now is a bone saltwater spook.
Mhm.
And you know what I like about it? The hooks are awesome. And I don't understand why they don't put saltwater hooks on everything. The
Yeah.
they have been sharp. Like I don't think I've ever sharpened them, and they are still sharp. And I've caught a lot of fish on them. And that's the galvanized, like the
Mm-hmm.
hook, so it don't rust in the salt. They're awesome.
Sweet.
I mean, that's just what I looked up, but that could be. Super Spook XT.
You know, I'm wondering if they aren't saltwater.
Could be.
Yeah. Do they
I'll
have
have-
galvanized hooks on them?
Well, I think one does, but I wonder if they didn't get switched out.
Yeah.
But I'll round them up and we'll look at them.
You guys should be proud of me. I just officially downloaded all the updates and updated all my stuff while we were doing a podcast.
And he kicked us out of the
That's
studio.
probably what happened.
Oh dear.
So I win.
You, sir, have won the internet today. Kiki's going to tinker. John has a derby this Saturday. Dano's got to work. Jacob Walker was a good guest. What else do we know?
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful weather the next couple days.
Oh, yeah. For you guys, you're good till what, Sunday night?
I think Sunday's supposed to be only 53 or something for a high.
They keep dropping it here. It's like 36 for a high now, Sunday.
36.
Yeah, ice and snow.
We don't want any of that.
No. But folks, thanks for watching tonight. Thanks for putting up with our shenanigans and our unforeseen technical difficulties. It happens.
It does.
It's the internet. Crazy things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Peace and chicken grease, man.